Any other public comments? Oh, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Christopher Dell'Olio. I own a software company that currently operates, helps the 30% of the market on the operating non-storefront delivery side run their entire business from day to day. We've already had to build in certain tools and features to help these delivery services with theft and things like that. So adding the address on the receipt is just another, security issue that we see. So I think that it shouldn't be something that's added to, delivery receipts currently. So.
My name is Zachary Pitts. I as well agree that it's a safety issue. It's also just not confusing consumers. If we're a non-storefront delivery, we specifically are licensed and we're operating in a manner not to deal with customers on site. Putting the address on the receipt or requiring us to put the address on the receipt can confuse consumers and make them think that they can show up there when they cannot, in fact. So it's a safety issue, it's a customer confusion issue. We're not saying that we ban people from, if someone chooses, if a storefront is delivering as well and chooses to put their address there, that's fine. But, and it's not, removing this address doesn't mean that there's no public access to the information about our businesses, but it increases the security in a significant manner, and we really appreciate that change.
Do we have any comments from the committee in terms of what we heard regarding whether it's local rules?
I have a question. The last gentleman's question, I don't know the answer. What is the current status of local on the 10 o'clock? What's the status?
So I don't have any, and this is Crystal D'Souza, I'm staff counsel with the Department of Food and Agriculture, so I don't have any information on whether or not there are current local ordinances that prohibit delivery after certain hours, and I really couldn't speak to answer that question or to whether or not if local ordinances did place such prohibitions, whether the Bureau's regulations would implement that. So I apologize, I can't answer that question.
I could speak to, as far as the alcoholic beverage industry, I know it's up to the business owner to comply with whatever local and state jurisdiction there is. So for example, if the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control restricts alcohol sales at a liquor store at 1 p.m., but the city of Sacramento restricts it to 11 p.m., it's up to that business owner to comply with the local jurisdiction and close at 11 p.m., even though their ABC license allows them to sell past 1 p.m. So that's my only input on that. As far as I think it falls back to the business owner to comply with his or her local jurisdiction.
Thank you. That was all very helpful. There's also the issue of the 10 o'clock cutoff, the 10 p.m. cutoff. And I guess here as a committee, would we want to put forward a recommendation that clarifies whether the sale has to be done at 10 o'clock or something along the lines of the driver has to be back at the shop by 10 o'clock? Is this something?
I would be inclined to have the sale be the cutoff or the act that has to happen before 10, not the delivery. I would also be inclined to give a recommendation of a 10 o'clock cutoff with the proviso that if local wants to have a different time, they would be free to do that.
That could be a slippery slope because then someone could say, well, you can deliver between 1 and 2 p.m.
If you get away with it politically.
What if we added a term here that was reasonable, within reasonable limits? Would you want to, Mr. Domofsky, state the motion?
If I can remember it. The motion would be that we recommend the support of the 10 p.m. cutoff with the act of the order sale transaction being the action that has to take place before 10 o'clock. That we support the statewide recommendation of a 10 o'clock cutoff, but we allow local jurisdictions to implement whatever cutoff time they choose to do.
Would you be amenable to amend that motion to include reasonable for the?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Don't ask me to repeat it all. I hope you got that.
Are there any additional public comments on the motion? Any additional committee comments?
Could we have the motion repeated back to us before the vote?
So I have motion recommend the support of the 10 p.m. cutoff with the act of the order that the sales transaction must be made before the 10 o'clock cutoff, but allow local jurisdictions to implement reasonable cutoffs.
Any comments from the committee?
Okay.
Was there a second on the motion?
Oh, yes, I need a second.
I second the motion.
Thank you. No additional public comments. I will move to the committee for a vote, starting with, I know you just got here, Nikita? Yes. Stevenson?
Aye.
Dombrowski?
Aye.
You?
Aye.
Heidelback?
Aye.
Harada?
Aye.
Motion passes.